Good evening, everyone. I came here tonight because I wanted to have a chance to listen, both to the people that were speaking, but also to hear and to convey the Congressman some of the sentiment and some of the concerns expressed here tonight. It's almost, well, maybe in the interest of full disclosure, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone here tonight. You all know that Bill Delahunt voted against the resolution to go to war. He led the opposition in the House to go to war, and it was probably one of the most important votes I think he took in his career in the Congress. What I wanted to sort of lay out to you is just a couple quick points, and then I'm going to just turn it back over to you and to the panelists. For those of you who are interested in some of the views and some of the comments and some of the observations of the Congressman, I know there were some handouts here this evening. I encourage you to check our website on a regular basis. Every day or two, developments as they're unfolding in Washington, we will post on our website and try to give you the most recent and up-to-date information in terms of what's going on. As you're aware, the President was given an opportunity through the Iraq Study Group to have a bipartisan and well-thought-out comprehensive approach to dealing with the war and the crisis in Iraq. The President rejected that, and he's come forward with his own proposal. And I think what you'll see in the Congress next week is the Democrats will bring to the House floor a resolution to get a sense of the Congress on the President's proposal. And I would venture to say that Congressman Delahunt will be leading efforts in the House to argue against the President's proposal. It's a misguided plan. It's one that's not going to work at all. Clearly, the President is laid before the American people a plan that's ill-conceived and not really going to accomplish much of anything. The reality is that his policies in Iraq are an unmitigated disaster. The situation is a failure. And what you'll see is, after this vote, you'll be seeing efforts in the Congress focused on gradually redeploying and withdrawing our troops. At some point within the next 2 weeks, that's where the fight will be in the Congress. There'll be an aggressive effort underway to begin getting our troops out there. Does that solve the problem completely? No. There's going to be in the aftermath, in the wake of this, assuming the Congress is successful in challenging and confronting the President, there'll clearly be a whole series of issues and problems unfolding. But the reality is that all of the options have equally serious problems. But the other point that I wanted to raise for you this evening is to let you know that I think next week we'll have some news on Congressman Delahunt's committee assignments. I would sense that he will probably be named chairman of the Oversight and Investigation Subcommittee and the House Foreign Affairs Committee. That committee's jurisdiction will probably change. It'll be broadened, and it'll include jurisdiction over the UN and other related organizations, as well as human rights. So it shows a great vote of confidence for him in terms of his leadership in the Congress. And I think that news will unfold next week. And again, I think what we're witnessing, just in conclusion, let me just say, I think what we're witnessing is, at least in my lifetime, somewhat unprecedented. We're faced as a nation with an incredibly serious world crisis on our hands. And this is the first time I can recall watching a president ill-equipped to lead this nation and to lead the world in any constructive way in dealing with the crisis. It's the first time ever I personally have ever seen a situation like this in which it's clear that the commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, is almost in over his head in terms of dealing with a situation like this. It's a remarkable and, quite frankly, frightening time for America and for the world. That's the situation that I see. It's very disturbing. Now, the President will say that this is his plan, this is the best plan, and that there is no other plan from the Democrats. They'll try to turn it into a partisan battle, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate. It doesn't have to be the case. He could have certainly reached out to the Congress. He could have reached out to the Democrats. He could have started with the Iraq Study Group's recommendations in terms of how to deal with this in a comprehensive way. But there have been numerous opportunities to do that, and he has failed to take that on. So the situation that we're confronted with, the situation that we're faced with politically, is one that he has chosen to put us in as a nation. And it's a very, very serious time. So as we look ahead, that's the battle that will unfold. There'll be a very intense battle in Washington. I would suspect that next week there'll be a vote up or down on the president's plan, and then after that there'll be an intense fight over the efforts to withdraw and redeploy our troops out of Iraq. And that's what I see in the immediate future. Beyond that, it's almost impossible to tell what's going to happen. But again, on behalf of the Congressman, I want to thank you all for putting this forum together. I'm, like I said, genuinely interested in hearing this discussion and be more than happy to answer any more of the questions. So thank you for inviting me.